Paddy Power, we are coming for you.
You see this? That's a smile because we've agreed again.
Probably one of my best bets of the week.
I think 25 to 1 is a big price for him. He's going to have a humongous season next year.
That 100k bonus is going to be in Goshen's back pocket. Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our Punchestown Festival preview. Jack and I are very much looking forward to previewing many races from the Punchestown Festival coming to you from Tuesday through to Saturday. We're going to be discussing a lot of the grade ones in action, but just first of all, I just want to say thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the channel so far. We are just over 30 subscribers away from 500 subscribers on the channel. So if we can get there before the big start of the flat season, the Guineas preview goes out next week. If we can get there before then, we'd be ever so grateful. But Jack, we'll get into the jump section straight away and we'll start off on the Tuesday. The Grade 1 Champion Novice Hurdle over 2 miles. And Echoes in Rain is your favourite here, around 8 to 11. Blue Lord is 6 to 4. Fell at the last in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Utrecht is 14 to 1. Duke Up 16s. And Colonel Mustard is the outside of the lot at 33 to 1. Jack, appreciate it was in this market only a few days ago. Unfortunately, being pulled out of the race. But even saying that, Echoes in Rain came for a lot of support anyway against this horse. I think we're still around 6 to 4 with Appreciate It in there. Now, Echoes in Rain, 15-length winner last time out and actually beat Belfast Banter by 8 lengths the time before. Obviously, Belfast Banter has since come out and won at Aintree. Do we make this a 2-horse race, Jack?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think it's a good duel between the two. Appreciate It now being entered over 2.5. I don't know if he'll be put away or if we'll see him. We'll get onto that later. But yeah, I think it is a good duel. I mean, Blue Lord would have finished second, probably about 10, 15 lengths in second, which would have put him about 10 lengths ahead of Ballyadam, which is still a good performance. He jumped very well that day, but he has to give £7 to Echoes of Rain. Now, I think that's a lot to be giving her. She sauntered to the front at Fairy House and did it very impressively. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think the form of that race is anything to go by. They went at quite a cruel early doors, but I think she put it to bed really nicely. And of course, you said the form that tying in there with Belfast Banter, who won the county, and then obviously the top novices hurdle as well. I think it could be Echoes in Rain's race to lose. I'm slightly intrigued as to why Paul Townend's gone with Blue Lord instead of Echoes in Rain, but nonetheless, I think it is Echoes in Rain's race to lose.
Yeah, I think I'm totally with you. I think that the mare's going to win it for the Mullins Yard. It's the Mullins race. And there's not just a duel here. There's plenty of duels on the card. But the other duels going on is Rachel Blackmore versus Paul Townend for the champion jockey title out there. I think Rachel Blackmore's only 4 behind. Then you've got an excellent duel for the amateur championships where you've got Jamie Codd and Patrick Mullins. And they are actually currently level. So potentially Willie Mullins has given a few decent rides here to Patrick to kind of boost his claims for the amateur title. Because I know Paul's got some excellent rides on the card throughout the week, and we will get into them. But for Jack and I, an easy selection to begin with, but it's going to be Echoes in Rain in the first. Now we move on to the Champion Chase on the Tuesday, and a really fantastic race this over 2 miles. Chacun Pour Soi is your 6 to 4 favourite, almost joint favourite actually. You can get Allaho at 6 to 4 as well. Nube Negra for the Skelton team, 6 to 1. First Flow 14s. Silos Emery is 20s. Castle Grace Paddy 40s, and Daily Tiger 50 to 1. Jack, I know that you were a big fan of Nube Negra for the Champion Chase at Cheltenham. We've got some really interesting ones with Allaho going over 2 miles. Obviously, the Ryanair winner, Willie Mullins, really fascinated to see how this horse does over 2 miles. And we've got Chacun Pour Soi, who maybe sort of Cheltenham wasn't his course. They did go off a hell of a gallop, and he might be just an out-and-out 2-miler who doesn't like too much of a test. He might just be a speedy horse. Are you going to be staying with your beloved Nube Negra?
It's a tricky one, Sam. I think Nube Negra is an absolute world beater. I think the bookies have got the wrong favourite with Chacun Pour Soi. He didn't get up the hill, and I think Nube Negra was well on top at the line. I think he's 7 years old. He's going to have a humongous season next year, and I really do think this lad is absolutely top class. But Allaho being thrown in there, it just raises a few question marks to me. I don't think the 2 miles will be a problem. Around Punchestown, it's probably a bit better to be handier than it is coming off the pace, because especially the second to last bend's a little bit sharper than people actually think it is. So Nube Negra being held out the back I think won't play into his favour. I think with the better test of jumping that's over Punchestown, I think Allaho, if he gets into a rhythm like he did at Cheltenham, I don't think he gets beaten. I think it's as simple as that. I don't know how strong the champion chase form is. Put the Kettle on and advertise that too well the other day, but I think it is personally between Allaho and Nube Negra for myself. I probably wouldn't be advising a win bet. I think Allaho, although it is an audition over 2 miles, I think he's the one to beat if he shows up. But I do think Nube Negra will get the better of Shaka Bonsoir. And I don't know what price that is yet. It hasn't been priced up yet, but I think that is the match bet for me. I think Nube Negra, if finds Allaho too good, I still think he's a lot better than Shaka Bonsoir.
Yeah, I think Allaho is fascinating here. I really personally couldn't be backing Allaho, but it'd be fascinating to see how he runs. I do think that if Allaho does go and win this well, I do think that this is the Irish challenger next year for Shishkin in the champion chase. I think this is going to be the main rival, and we'll show it here. If disappointing, potentially the Ryanair will be back on the schedule for next year for Allaho. But I'm kind of with you, Jack. I've joined the Nube Negra train. The 7-year-old. I know Skelton's been bigging this horse up, but you just look at the Celebration Chase, which was a much weaker race, in my opinion, than this potentially. And they decided to pull that horse out of that and come here. So I do think the 6-1 is a fairly nice price. You're one that doesn't mind taking an each way price about that kind of a bet to nothing. I think that Nube Negra might be the one to beat. And Jack's little bet will be Nube Negra to beat Shakam Poursoir in the champion chase. Right, on to the final race we're going to be previewing on the Tuesday, and that's the Champion Novice Chase over 3 miles, and the most talked up race of the week, I think. Monkfish versus ENVOI. The shortest you can get them both is around evens from what I know, both of them evens. It's a red or black here, but you've got Cole Reevy in here at 9-1 as well, and Franco de Port at 40-1. Jack, ENVOI falling at Cheltenham. It was a bit of a shame seeing it. It was a really sad sight seeing Jack Kennedy walking in from that. It's actually a bit unfortunate. I'm actually quite disappointed that he's not going to be aboard ENVOI. I'd love to have seen him get his sort of swan song and potentially beat Monkfish. But Rachel Blackmore's going to be aboard this horse, obviously for Henry de Bromhead now. But Jack, personally, I think the next year's Gold Cup winners run here, and that is the mighty Monkfish in the Rich Ritchie colours. I think that this horse is just absolutely bomb-proof. I don't think we saw the best of him at Cheltenham. Definitely not. I think the horse still did his job, but I just don't think he was up to his best. And that may be the worry going into next year's festival. We'll get onto that later in the year. But I just think that here he's going to get the better of ENVOI. I think the Gold Cup winners coming out of this race. Are you in the same opinion?
Yeah, spot on. I think ENVOI just has a few more questions to answer. Obviously, he's coming off the back of a fall. What's he going to be like after falling? Of course, he's entering Monkfish's feeding ground of 3 miles. Now, that's not a place I would like to be going. It's kind of like going to the Den when you're playing Millwall away. I mean, it's not exactly where you want to be going. Like Monkfish, we haven't really seen him put a foot all wrong until the RSA or the Brown Advisory when, he just wasn't at his best, was he? I mean, maybe he didn't enjoy Cheltenham as much as we thought he would. But who knows? I mean, I think this is his race to lose, especially now Willie Mullins has 3 of the 4 runners. I think he can dictate the pace. If ENVOI wants to rattle along out front, then so be it. But I can't really see that happening. I think Willie will be able to dictate the pace with the 3, and I think Monkfish will jump them all into submission, and probably we'll see our Gold Cup winner come in those Rich Ritchie colours, as you said.
Yeah, it's going to be Monkfish for myself and Jack, and I'll be left a little red-faced if ENVOI does go beat him. And I say red-faced, but I've caught the sun over the last few days over in Britain. Has been absolutely beautiful, and definitely gonna have to get the suntan lotion on. I mean, Jack's been taking the mick out of me right from the start before we came on air, but I will be left red faced. But Jack and I are both going to be signing with Monkfish in the Champion Novice Chase. Right, on to the Wednesday now, and we kick things off with the Irish Mirror Novice Hurdle over 3 miles. And we see Statler here, the 7-2 favourite, who is 4th in the Albert Bartlett. We've got Galloping de Champ here, who's the Martin Pipe winner. Cape Gentleman is 6-1. Gentleman's Game 6s as well. Tory Graph 9s. Ashdale Bob is 10s and 12-1, bar those. Jack, we did have Vanilla in here, the Albert Bartlett winner, early in the week. We think the horse has been taken out of the race. Who are you going to be siding in this open contest?
I'm actually going to opt for one of my Cheltenham 2022 2022 anti-post picks. Now, if you haven't watched our video where we give you a Cheltenham review and 2 Cheltenham anti-post picks each, make sure you do check that out. And that's going to be Galopin de Champs, the Martin Pipe winner. Now, I think 5-1 could be an okay price about him. I was really impressed with his win that day. I mean, he was on the bridle until the last when Sean O'Keefe asked him for a bit more, and he drew 9 lengths clear of third, 2 lengths clear of a very well handicapped Langer Dan, who was in fine fettle at the time. Lorcan Williams was motionless till the second last as well. I think those 2 out front are going to be exceptional horses next year. I think 3 miles shouldn't be a problem. 2 of the last 11 winners have come from the Martin Pipe. Willie Mullins did it in 2015, so I think he should be able to cope with the step up in grade and could be the one for me at 5-1.
Okay. I'm going to be with the Jessica Harrington horse here. The first horse I'm going to put up at 10-1. That's Ashdale Bob, who's had the recent run at the start of April. Actually fell at Fairy House as well, and that was in the Lawlers of Nace novice hurdle, I think. I might be right in saying that, but the horse was actually well back that day, and well fancied to run well. And I do think this horse won't mind this ground at all. I think the ground's going to be, I think, currently good to yielding. I don't think the horse will have any trouble at all. And I do think that this horse at 10-1 is a fantastic each way play. I agree with Jack, and Galopin de Champs is a real horse to follow for the seasons to come. But for myself, it's going to be Ashdale Bob in the Irish Mirror Novice Hurdle. For Jack, it's going to be Galopin de Champs. On to the Punchestown Gold Cup now, over 3 miles. One of the highlights of the festival. Manila Indo, the Gold Cup winner here, is 5-4 favourite. The Gold Cup third, Album Photo, and the 2-time winner of the Cheltenham Gold Cup, is 11-4. Kenboy is 5-1. Fakir Doodary is in here at 10s. I don't know whether he actually runs. Melon's also 10s and 12-1. Bar those. Jack, we do love Fakir Doodary. He's actually a horse I've said to follow for the Ryanair next season over the 2 mile 4 route. 3 miles far too long for him. I wouldn't be taking any chance if he did go here. I actually quite like one away from the top 2 in the market, and that's going to be Kenboy, which is a really interesting one. A course and distance winner. He actually won this race in 2019. Cheltenham definitely isn't for him. He's the last finisher of the Cheltenham Gold Cup, but he really hates it round there. And the way the ground's going, good to soft. The horse has won a Betway Bowl on good to soft ground, beating some decent horses, the likes of Bristol de Mai, Clanders Oboe. I think he's got a right chance in here at 5-1 to spoil the party for the 2 Gold Cup placed horses. What about yourself?
You see this? That's a
no.
smile because we're agreed
no.
again. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Yeah, I think for me, I think Kenboy is the value in the race. I mean, at the time that we're filming, 5-1, I think you can get 6-1 Paddy Power and Betfair as well, with 3 places each way. I think that's a cracking play. I mean, if the declaration suddenly you go less than 8 runners, you're only playing 2 places, suddenly a little bit different if the front 2 run to how we know they can. But yeah, I think 6-1 paying 3 places. I mean, when we know the declarations, that could be a cracking bet, because we spoke about being handy on the course. We know we're going to get that with Kenboy. He's 2 out of 3 round here, won the race in 2019, as you said. Yes, he didn't put the greatest round of jumping in the Gold Cup, but he showed that if he can get a lead and get in a rhythm like we saw in the Irish Gold Cup, he's very hard to peg back. So for me, I'm going to agree with you, Sam. I think 6-1 is a good price about Kenboy each way.
Yeah, I think he's a right chance. He obviously ran well in the Savills Chase as well. So Kenboy, definitely the bit of value in the Punchestown Gold Cup. Right, the final race we're going to preview on the Wednesday is the Champion Flat Race over 2 miles. We see the 2 horses from the bumper at Cheltenham, Kilcrut and Sir Gerhard, both around 7-4 joint favourites. Dysart Dynamo 5-1. Ginto is 6 on Free Stripe Life at 10s and bigger the rest. Jack, people who have watched this channel before know that we're not a massive fan of bumper races, but for me, Sir Gerhard's just going to hold the form here. What about yourself?
Yeah, likewise. Bumpers aren't really our cup of tea, is it? We like to see what they do from the bumpers. But that being said, I think 3 Stripe Life is a lot better than he showed in the Champion Bumper. I mean, his win at Navan was good from a visual perspective and also a time perspective, considering the ground was bottomless. But then at Cheltenham, he really showed how he was so inexperienced. He threw Jack Kennedy off beforehand, smashed into the rail, and was very free early. And despite all that, finished 4th. And I think he's a lot better than Ellie Bell, who finished ahead of him that day, and I think that can definitely be upgraded. So at 10-1, I'd be surprised if he's out of the frame there.
Yeah, I think that Sir Gerhard's got a huge chance. Jack's going to be with 3 Stripe Life at a really nice price, but you'd actually be surprised. Jack and I would usually like a flat race, but these aren't the flat races that we're too interested in. We're waiting for them to go over hurdles, but a fascinating Champion Flat Race over in Ireland. Right, on to the Thursday now. We're rattling through these and we go on to the Stayers Hurdle over 3 miles. Flooring Porter, the Stayers Hurdle winner from Cheltenham, 15 to 8 favourite. Cider Burley, who was second in the Stayers Hurdles, 4 to 1. You've got Beacon Edge, who was fourth in the Stayers, that's 6s. Ronald Pump is 7s. The Storyteller, 15 to 2. He was 5th in the Stayers. Fury Road is 10s and 16 to 1. Bar those. Jack, we've got the 1, 2, 4, and 5 from the Stayers Hurdle. Do you reckon they'll keep the order like that?
No, I don't actually. I mean, it's not a race that I'll be getting too heavily involved in, if I'm being honest. Stayers races aren't really my cup of tea. But it's hard to fault Flooring Porter, isn't it, for his win in the Stayers? He jumped, travelled, and put the race to bed away nicely. I mean, he didn't jink right like he has been prone to, which helped. He's obviously the one to beat, but 9 of the last 11 winners had raced previously at Punchestown, and also 9 of the last 11 were aged 7 or older, and he doesn't fit either of those criteria. And obviously, I love my stats, so I'll probably look elsewhere for something that does. And Beacon Edge does, so I was impressed with him in the Stayers. I mean, he was going very well until 2 out, but he ultimately didn't stay up the hill. Now, the gradient of the hill isn't as steep as it is at Cheltenham, so although it's gradual, I mean, I think he's got some good course form here. He's 1 out of 2 here. He was third in a bumper behind Colreevy and Abracadabras, and sauntered through for an easy maiden win. So I think he'll be the one for me at 6 to 1.
Okay, I'm going to go with a horse that didn't actually run at Cheltenham, and that's Ronald Pump. He hasn't run at Punchestown since 2017. I look back, that was the first time he ran, and that was in his maiden. He's the Stayers Hurdle second from 2020. And he was second behind Honeysuckle in the Hatton's Grace Hurdle, where he was rattling home that day. I actually really fancied this horse for the Stayers Hurdle. Obviously missed that, but I just think the horse is going to be primed for this now. And I think Ronald Pump at 7 to 1 is actually probably one of my best bets of the week. So Ronald Pump for me in the Stayers Hurdle, and Beacon Edge for Jack. Right, the Ryanair Novice Chase 2 miles. Energamain wins at 2 to 1 on Jack. Yep, move on.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, we go on to the Friday and the Champion Hurdle over 2 miles. Honeysuckle is your 8 to 11 favourite here. Epatante is 3 to 1. Aspire Tower 8 to 1. Sharjah 8 to 1. Abracadabras is 10s. The winner is Goshen is 10 to 1 and 12 to 1 bar those. Paddy Power, we are coming for you. That 100k bonus is going to be in Goshen's back pocket. This is last chance saloon, the last chance that I go with him. He's a lunatic. He'll either win this or he will just be all over the shop and he'll get pulled up. I'm still surprised he actually finished the Champion Hurdle. I don't know how they ended up getting the horse round that day, but hopefully the horse, we know he's got the ability, and it would be great to see him have his day because he could be a star horse. But the horse I'm also going to give a big mention for, a big price each way, at 33 to 1, if going for this race, is Dava Star. Now, the horse was third in the Champion Hurdle in 2020 as a novice. Actually was second in an Irish Champion Hurdle that same year, finishing behind Honeysuckle. Now, the horse hasn't really shown too much over fences, and it's been a bit of a shame. I was actually shocked to see them keep the horse over fences for so long. But what the horse's only win over fences was actually at Punchestown. So the horse seems to like the course. And was third in ENVOI Royal Bond, which was a really good Royal Bond. Abracadabras obviously second, and ENVOI winning that. So for myself, it's going to be Dava Star 33 to 1 each way, and I'm going to give last chance saloon to the Gary Moore horse Goshen. Jack, I know you're not going to agree with Goshen. Who have you got in here?
Unfortunately, no. I've let Goshen go. He's all over to you now. You can have all the hope that he wants. But yeah, I know what day Friday is. We got Goodwood. We got a really nice listed contest over there. We got Eileen Dover entered, Alpinista, and then we've got the Champion Hurdle over Punchestown. I mean, goodness me, it's a great day, isn't it? But if Honeysuckle goes, she wins. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that. But there's a few at the prices, including one who I'm really looking forward to seeing if he goes. The first, obviously, Jason the Militant. If he goes, I think he has a good chance. He obviously jinked right when he jumped when falling in the Aintree Hurdle. And I think 12 to 1's an okay price. I think Rachel Blackmore will be a bit annoyed that she came off when she did. I mean, the loose horse, and it got in everyone's way and finished second in the photo. So I think he does have a good chance when he goes, if he goes. But for me, one of the best bets of the week, if he goes, is Beauvedere, 25 to 1 for the Champion Hurdle. I mean, he showed he retains the enthusiasm and the ability in the Aintree Hurdle. He was jumping so nicely at the second last. He got third last. He got broadsided by Jason the Militant when he was loose. And Rachel Blackmore unseating on Jason the Militant was just a double-edged sword. I mean, A, he had to go and take up the race when Nico de Boinville said he wanted just to sit in behind and then try and take it up late on. And B, obviously, he got broadsided, as I said, by Jason the Militant, lost all momentum and still ran a really good race into fourth. Ultimately just found it a little bit too much of a test, but I think 25-1 is a big prize for him if he goes. He's won here. He won this in 2019. He likes the course. He was badly hampered last time out. He's had a light campaign. I think he's absolutely primed for this if he goes.
Wow. 25-1 Bouvardere. I'll tell you what, yeah. No, I'll let you have your point there. Yeah, potentially we did see him in back to his best maybe at Aintree. So it's going to be Jack with Bouvardere at 25-1. I'm going to be siding with Goshen with a win bet, but I'll also be having an each-way bet on Darvastar in the Champion Hurdle over in Punchestown. Right, on to the Champion Novice Hurdle over 2.5 miles. And we've got Bob Ollinger in here as your 4 to 6 favourite. Gaillard de Menil 4-1. Appreciate it if going for this race. I'm not 100% sure whether we're going to be seeing this horse. Might be put away for the season, but the horse is currently around 13-2, maybe in sort of 7-1 in places. Galopin de Champ is also in here. I'm not sure that horse is going to be going here at 10s and 14-1 bar those. If Appreciate It gets pulled out, Jack, I think Bob Ollinger just wins. I think he stays. He's got speed. I think he'll be winning the Marsh Chase next season. You were a big fan of Gaillard de Menil, though, before Cheltenham. Are you still with Gaillard de Menil, or would you say that now Bob Ollinger is definitely the one to beat in this sort of division?
No, Bob Ollinger well and truly proved me wrong. I mean, I think Gaillard de Menil does need a bit further and needs more testing ground, like we saw from his win when he beat Statler. But I think it's a bit of a mess of a race, isn't it? Does Appreciate It go? I don't think they'll run him over 2.5. I think they'll put him away. And then you've got the likes of Ashdale Bob, Galopin de Champ, Blue Lord. All of them won't run here. And then it does just revolve around Bob Ollinger. I think he'll go off probably 3-1 on, probably maybe even a bit shorter than that. He's currently 4 to 6. I wouldn't say that's value as such, but I just can't really see him losing here. I expect him to land the spoils and probably do it relatively comfortably.
There you go. Yeah, Bob Ollinger in the Champion Novice Hurdle over 2.5 miles for both myself and Jack. Right, we're going to preview the one race that we're going to be doing on the Saturday, which is the Irish Mares Champion Hurdle over 2.5 miles. A really fascinating race, this one. Concertista, your 5-4 favourite, who's second in the Mares at Cheltenham. Burning Victory is currently 100 to 30. Tell Me Something Girl, 5-1. Stormy Island, the revived Stormy Island, 11 to 2. Sky Ace 7s. Echoes in Rain won't be going here, but 8-1. Lorena 8s and 10-1 bar those. Jack, like I say, it's fascinating. We've got the Mares Hurdle second, taking on the 2020 Triumph Hurdle winner, taking on the Mares Novice Hurdle winner, taking on a revived Stormy Island. It's a real difficult one to get your head around, not one that I'd really want to be touching. I'd actually love to have seen Concertista whacked into the Champion Hurdle. I'd love to have seen her over 2 miles to see what she can do, and I hope they take that route next season. Who have you gone with?
Absolute head scratcher, isn't it? I mean, like you said, you got Burning Victory after the Triumph. You've got Concertista, who just didn't stay up the hill. You got Lorena. God knows what's happening to her. You got a revived Stormy Island, like you said. I mean, the only thing I can be certain of is that it will be over by 3:40 because the Guineas will be on at 3:40. That's about the only thing I can be certain of. Like, to me, it will be a complete watching brief. But there's one entered who I'm a big fan of, and I know she has a big race in her. And that's Global Equity for Joseph O'Brien, who I put up on the channel a few weeks ago. Now, she's entered here and in a listed race over 2 miles. I'm sure she has a big race in her. She was second to Heaven Help Us in February with Tell Me Something Girl and Lady Breffney in behind. They've gone on to win Grade 1s, Grade Bs, whatever you want to say. She ran well into fifth in the Mares Novice Hurdle at Fairy House and then won at Limerick last time out. But she just jumps really nicely. I mean, she'll probably go for the listed race, but she's a stout jumper. So if she does go here, I'll be keeping my eye on her. She's currently 50-1. I won't be having a bet for this race myself, as you said. But yeah, it's an absolute head scratcher.
Yeah, I'd actually love to see Burning Victory run well here. Potentially a horse we might be looking at as the Mares Hurdle winner next season if running well. There's every chance, but I'd love to see her run well. Obviously, the Triumph Hurdle winner who shouldn't have been the Triumph Hurdle winner. We know who should have won that, but that doesn't matter now. Concertista actually thought was unlucky in the Mares Hurdle. I think the horse was given a real gentle time of things at the last. Where she probably should have gone to ping that, knowing that Black Tears was coming home strongly. But yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna go with Tell Me Something Girl. if going in this. I do think that this horse is very talented, was held up right at the back in the Mares Novice Hurdle. I think Rachel Blackmore, that was one of her best rides of the week. She proved that she could literally take a horse from anywhere to the winning post. And I do think that the horse is a real talent, but it's not one that I'd probably be backing, to be honest, Jack. It is too much of a head scratcher, like you say. But looking forward to that. But yeah, Saturday, the Guineas will also be on that day, and our preview of the Guineas, we're buzzing for it. It's going to be out on Thursday, so do look out for that. Hopefully, we should have a special guest on there. We're looking forward to announcing that soon, but we should have someone on. We're going to be previewing both the 2,000 and 1,000 Guineas and some of the other excellent races we have on the cards. But yeah, that's our preview of the Irish Mares Hurdle. Right, before we finish up for the Punchestown Festival, we're just going to quickly discuss other races. Jack, I haven't got anything else on the card that I really want to mention. What have you looked into?
So, I mean, of course, at the time of filming, we've only got the declarations for the Tuesday, so I'm sure we'll have a lot more on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well with Newmarket. So be sure to follow us on Twitter if you want to see them, because I'm sure we'll hopefully have a few winners. But the 450 on Tuesday is a nice handicap hurdle, grade B over 2 miles, and it's an absolute cracker. And there's two that I'm willing to take on at the prices. The first is top weight Cade Boy, who was 13th in the county hurdle. He settled in midfield and was jumping really nicely the whole way round, with Champagne Gold just to his right, who's also entered in this. He still looked to have a chance to out, drifted a bit left and ultimately didn't quite get up the hill. This journey is a little bit less. It's 79 yards less, in fact, and he's dropped £4 for that, with Simon Torrens claiming £3. He's been running well with a big weight on his back, and he looks perhaps a little bit overpriced at 16-1. The final one is Exit Poll for Jessica Harrington, who's currently 18-1. Now, this seven-year-old he's an absolutely peculiar horse. I mean, his last 5 runs have all been over fences, whereas jumping hasn't been great. He's been unseated. He's unseated his rider and also fallen in one of them. But nonetheless, he still won very comfortably on his penultimate start and beat 3 subsequent winners. Now, the last time he was seen over the smaller obstacles was in January of last year, when he beat John Snow in a maiden quite nicely by 2 lengths at Fairy House. Now, John Snow since then, shortly after that, went on to beat Belfast Banter by 8 lengths and Sky Ace by, I think, 35 lengths. Now, they're both Grade 1 winners, so if that form's standing the test of time, I think a mark of 132 could be nice for Exit Poll. So I think Cade Boy and Exit Poll, 16, 18-1 apiece, are both good each-way prices for the 450 on Tuesday.
There we go. A couple of nice prices and a handicap for Jack. And that is the end of our preview of the Punchestown Festival. Right, thanks very much for watching our Punchestown Festival preview. Like I said, we're going to be with you guys on Thursday for the Guineas preview. The classics are coming our way. So we're very much looking forward to getting that video out to you guys, and hopefully a few winners. If you haven't already, we have already done a flat anti-post preview. It's done actually really well. Go check that out. That'll be down in the comments. Go watch that video. It's a great one. But like I say, thanks for watching, and see you later, jump season.
Oh, no. No. Not that.
Oh, can we get away with that?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.